The Sega Genesis. This is a console I have a love-hate relationship with. Its 16-bit blast processing power that does what Nintendo don't. Brings you such great games as Streets of Rage and Barney's Hide and Go Seek. The rivalry between Nintendo and Sega was so great when I was in grade school, I was often on the losing end of altercations. Some that may or may not have gotten physical. See, I am a Nintendo fan through and through. Since I was so vocal about my fandom, I drew the ire of Sega fans, some of whom were bullies. I don't actually remember most of the people who gave me troubles, but nowadays I still have an irrational initial hatred towards Sega products. I get irritated anytime anyone says that Sega products are better than Nintendo products. Sonic the Hedgehog is pretty much the poster child of that rivalry that I grew up with. So anytime people get all excited about Sonic stuff, I immediately turn into a little ball of hate. I know that this is irrational, and I usually get over it and attempt to play the games as objectively as possible. Sonic the Hedgehog is a side-scrolling platformer, which was created to give the Genesis a boost in popularity against the powerhouse NES and the upcoming SNES. Sonic is a hedgehog that can run really fast. He runs and jumps and spins into enemies. Sonic can use power rings to gain extra lives, and to use as an extra hit point against enemy attack. Collecting all 6 Chaos Emeralds will give you the good ending, compared to a slightly worse ending if you do not. That's it. That's all I want to talk about for Sonic the Hedgehog, so later. Okay, fine. Fine. We'll do the whole thing. Dr. Robotnik has captured all the creatures on the island Sonic calls home. Robotnik has turned all the creatures into power sources for his Badnik robots in an effort to find and control the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic sets out to stop the evil doctor and optionally collects the Chaos Emeralds on his quest. The story isn't anything too special, but it works, and it introduces 2 iconic characters to the video game world. The graphics are really good. Sonic the Hedgehog is a very colorful game with a lot of different settings. Settings being the different zones that Sonic adventures through. Each setting looks great and has highly detailed backgrounds. Enemies are really cool looking, and I love how the little animals pop out when Sonic defeats them. When Sonic the Hedgehog came out, I can't deny that I was incredibly impressed by what I saw on the TV commercials. This was probably the most appealing looking game I had ever seen at the time. Sega did a terrific job squeezing the best possible music out of their hardware. I'll be the first to tell you that the SNES had a vastly superior sound chip, but I also understand that the Genesis was released a few years earlier, so you can't really hold it against Sega. Sonic's soundtrack is one of the best from that time period. All the tracks are memorable and hum-worthy. I honestly love the theme to Marble Hill Zone the best. It's just got a real groove to it that I just can't get enough of. And now we get to the gameplay. From what I understand, it's real popular to hate on Sonic the Hedgehog games lately. When I first played Sonic the Hedgehog, I was borrowing my uncle's Genesis for a few months while he was at sea. I never finished it, and I honestly didn't play it much. It wasn't until I bought a Genesis as an adult that I played through it to completion. This was just a few months ago, so I honestly wasn't aware of all of this hate that the game had been getting. I found that the gameplay was okay, but not stellar by any means. The level design seemed a bit weird to me, and there were a ton of blind jumps and poorly placed enemies. Every time I'd start running forward, it seemed like I'd jump into an enemy and lose my rings, or fall several stories down into spikes or to a harder path to the goal. I still enjoyed my playthrough, but I didn't understand why it was so heralded over the years by many Sonic fans that I had met. I was fully expecting to go into this review and really pan the game. I played through the game again to record footage. This time I had a much easier time playing through the game, and I honestly feel like I had forgotten what it means to play a retro game. Meaning that, you have to play through a game several times to get a real good feel for it and start to enjoy it. And while maybe you can blame that on bad game design, I really think that that's just kind of how games went back in the day. Sonic control's a bit floaty, but you get used to it. There are a few areas that are a little wonky with jumping, specifically when you need to jump on inclines, but after a little while it's not so bad. Sonic attacks by jumping onto enemies or spinning into them. Some enemies can't be jumped on and need to be rammed into from the side by a spin attack. It's pretty obvious which ones are which most of the time, due to designs of the enemies. Obviously, you don't want to jump on enemies with spiky backs. Fighting Dr. Robotnik at the end of each zone is fairly straightforward. His patterns are easily learned and shouldn't give anyone too much trouble. There are levels that are obviously meant for running through quickly, which require split-second reaction to enemies and obstacles. There are also levels that are filled with traps and require you to move more slowly and deliberately through. Both are just as satisfying to finish. The aforementioned blind jumps and poor enemy placement are some of those obstacles in either level that you kinda learn the more you play through the game and become less of a nuisance. The cool thing about levels in this game are that there are multiple ways to get through to the finish line, as well as numerous hidden secret areas filled with power-ups, extra rings, and one-ups. The only problem I have with the zones are that there are too many acts. It feels like Sega could have shortened the zone by an act and added a few different zones into the game. This is largely corrected in the next Sonic game. You can unlock a bonus level by collecting 50 rings, passing the finish line, then jumping into a large ring at the end of the first 2 acts of each zone. The bonus level is a spinning maze where Sonic can collect rings to obtain continues, and find one of the 6 Chaos Emeralds. As I've said before, collect all 6 Chaos Emeralds to unlock the best ending. You can control the spinning direction of the maze by running into the little R sphere. If you hit an exit sphere, you will exit the level without the Chaos Emerald. Any bonus levels you don't collect Chaos Emeralds in will be repeated after you visited all 6 bonus levels. I'll be honest, I'll probably go back and play Sonic the Hedgehog again, mainly to collect all 6 Chaos Emeralds and see the true ending. I will suggest that if you were a Nintendo fanboy like me growing up, and you had some kind of unreasonable hatred towards Sonic the Hedgehog, play it again. You'll probably enjoy it. Maybe if not on the first time through, definitely on the second. And, you know, it definitely gets the love that it deserves from its fans. And while it's not my favorite game, it was still a lot of fun to play. You can pick this up really cheap with the case and all for the Sega Genesis for less than $10. Sega Genesis itself is a cheaper system. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than, say, a Super Nintendo, and in some cases, I think an NES as well. But if you don't want to go the original console route, I think Sega's released Sonic the Hedgehog on so many different collections across the PC, the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, the PS2, the GameCube, the Xbox. I mean, it's everywhere. Game Boy Advance, the DS. It's just, there is literally no way that you can miss out on Sonic the Hedgehog depending on which console you have. So play it, give it a try, and I guess I'm gonna have to play some more Genesis games, huh? Later.